What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? Welcome to today's video. It has been a couple days since we uploaded a video, and I don't know if you can tell by my nice tan complexion and my sunglasses tan. Had a nice family vacation down in Florida, and honestly, it's nice to take a break, but I'm not the sitting around type. So I'm down there riding my bike in the morning every morning. I serviced my mountain bike, put a Cushcore tubeless insert thing in the back, which was kind of a pain, and did a whole bunch of stuff because I'm just not a sit around by the pool guy. It's just not my thing, you know. We work, and then we come home, we work more. We like to work. We like to get stuff done. So this week is going to be hectic, and you guys are going to get a lot of videos. I don't know the titles for them. Usually I try to plan stuff out in advance. So we're not going to plan anything. We are just going to start cranking videos out and getting work done that needs to get done. So, what can we expect to see this week on the channel? Besides my barking dog that missed me greatly. I got to finish the port work on this iron. Center iron's done. I've got my exhaust port template out, and in one of these videos, probably this one, actually I know it's going to be this one, I've got the straight edge here, and we're going to do a quick intake and exhaust, just kind of porting guide. I think what I want to do in this video, because I need to finish the porting on this engine so I can get these parts painted and get this stuff up. You can see I've got one housing marked there. The other housing's hazed with some paint. The next weekly summary stuff is the RX-8 is chilling. Not in the garage, but it's going to go back in the garage tonight because, you know, the car that sat outside for 5 years and got abused and beaten up by the sun, we got to keep it inside now, right? That's how project cars work. You go rescue something from the rust and it kicks your nice daily driver out of your garage for 5 years. So the RX-8's got to come back in the shop, but we have a track day in 5 days. I got a fresh set of Falcon RT660s for it, 245 4017s. I got bulk status Motul RBF 600 ready to go. There's a brand new set of Hawk HT10 pads in the back, so we got to get those installed, the brake fluid bled, the new tires installed, and then that car, we're going to the track, trying to beat a 229 NCM. That's my personal best in the RX-8. And we're going to rip it. We already fixed the front main leak, so we're not leaking oil. I don't think I'm going to change the oil this time. I think I'll change the oil between this and the next track day. So, we're running the renewable lubricants, racing oil in that thing. It's good oil. It's a Rotary. It doesn't really splash it all up and aerate it and all this stuff, so we should be good. Yeah, that's it. We've also got to, this week, because we're porting this engine tonight, getting it painted, we got to get this engine stacked up. So I don't have all the fresh parts out here. They're all in the house, like new apex seals, side seals, this, that, and the other. We got to cut the side seals yet this week. I got the rotors and stationary gear bearings back from getting new stationary gears back from getting new bearings put in them. So all that stuff's done. Thank you to my buddy Vinny over on the other side of town. Pretty amped for that. But yeah, I'm going to be a Rotary engine dentist for a little bit. And let's get right down into engine porting. Okay, so exhaust ports are kind of something that is not necessarily a little bit weird to explain, but they're not quite as complex, in my opinion, as intake ports. On an REW engine or like a Turbo 2 engine, you already have massive exhaust ports. You can see that that port's huge. And largely the different port templates just change the port timing of them, so they open it sooner, allow for more duration, etc., etc. I don't know if I have a unported housing handy. Let's see. Oh, that one's been ported. I think those are stock. I'm gonna try. Actually, I'm gonna grab a 12A one. I'll fast forward and show you. Okay, so don't hate me for having a secret stash of 12A housings that are in good shape. But this is a 12A exhaust port, and this is a stock REW exhaust port. Notice how small that one is. So what I've noticed is that most of your 12A exhaust ports make huge differences on getting the flow out, but the 13B stuff, you know, isn't necessarily excessive, right? But like, you imagine porting that deal that big. Woo! Big ports. Okay, so how do you line up an exhaust port template on a rotary engine? And we'll go through a quick how you line up an intake port template on this if you didn't see my last video. Port templates are basically pieces of steel, aluminum, whatever they may be. I've got another one hanging up here for a 6-port engine that you use on your iron to give you a guide or limits of where to port. It's kind of like a coloring book for kids. This is what you do. Stay within the lines and you won't hurt anything. Now, this pineapple port template doesn't exactly line up perfect to where I want it to line up or where I'm comfortable porting it. So I've used the shape of their port on the bigger side right here, and then the bridge is kind of a proprietary, something I drew up based on, like 1.5 millimeters away from the coolant groove, and I pulled it up and used kind of their upper limits and kind of made my own port largely based on theirs, and it works. And porting is up to you. It's like being an artist, right? Different shops have different ports. IR Performance has his own proprietary port. I'm sure Angel Motorsports have their own proprietary port, and that's something that they may not sell a template for, but they do it their own way per their own template, or they just do it how they do it in their heads. So porting is kind of that. But if you're new to it, you've never done it before, you want something, get a Racing Beat template, get a pineapple template, get whatever you can find or whatever you like, read the reviews of it, and use that template. That's intake ports. There's the small ones as well, which are your primaries in the center iron, and you can get a lot of material off of a primary port. So that's porting the irons. Porting the exhaust. Using the Racing Beat template here, okay, which is just this little plate, you're going to sit here and say, how do you know how to line this up and down on your housing? So I've got the tape on this one. You use, ow, that slid out and just smashed me in the pelvis. Take this thing to court. Abuse. Okay, so this is an aluminum straight edge. Now, you think things are straight, this is straight. It's what we use. You lay this on an iron. You lay this on an iron. Words are hard. And you can put a feeler gauge under it. Make sure that your irons aren't warped. It also works really well for setting up this exhaust port template. So what we do is we take our dowels, and this is per Racing Beats instructions, okay, and you drop your dowels in. Once you've got your dowels dropped in, you lay a straight edge on the up top side of the dowels as if the iron was, or housing was sitting on the ground. Line that up. This line right here, where that straight edge crosses the apex steel mating surface or the housing surface, make a mark or put a piece of tape down. I marked it and put a piece of tape down. Then you flip it over and do the exact same thing on this side. Top of the deal, you make the mark. Okay? Once you've got your housing marked, remove your dowels. I already painted it so I can outline it. To the bottom of these tape edges, we're going to take this template and we're going to hold it on those marks perpendicular to the sides of the housing as best you can, and I'm going to scribe the limits of that port onto the irons, the housing's surface. Bam, voila. Ish, maybe. Okay, you can see my scribed mark around the limits of that port. You're also going to see it's really not a drastic change. So we're advancing the port's timing by pulling it down, i.e. the apex seal is going to open it sooner, right? It's going to pass it sooner and allow exhaust gas out sooner. We're also increasing the duration by making the port taller, and then we're letting it close later by pulling the port up. As far as what is optimal for boost, not boost, whatever, port timing in this, I am not a super scientist when it comes to understanding how the exhaust port timing affects your spool time and it affects your NA deal. I know that on an NA engine, ideally, you want to get as much airflow out as you can, but still there's limits of back pressure and this, that, and the other. And I know that this template is a 13B race template from Racing Beat. I think this is their most aggressive 13B template, and it's built for all 13Bs. Okay, so it works on 13B 4-port, GSLSE, FC, all that and the other. And if your FC engine is NA and it has the giant diffuser thing, which is like this metal concoction deal that's in there, I think I can get this housing out, even though it needs to go back in this exact spot, but I don't know. Okay, I'll just try to my best to show you. Hopefully that doesn't blow out the camera, but I'll highlight around the diffuser. You can see that there's a big metal object in the way of that exhaust port. If you have one of those diffusers in there, man, it is probably one of the hardest metals to grind. And that means, like, when you take a carbide bit like this and try to torch that thing out of there, and you just got to grind it up. I mean, you can get a hacksaw in there a little bit, maybe like if you have access to air tools or even electric tools, like one of these miniature sawzalls, right? This is an air miniature sawzall. You can get in there and try to cut it. But you're going to cut up a bunch of blades, and they're a pain to get out. But I would cut them out. You know, they do help for NA stuff, but if you want to use a port template like this and elongate the ports, you're going to destroy it trying to cut the port in there, unless you have a tiny Dremel, which helps a lot too if you have a Dremel for polishing this, that, and the other. Yeah, that's the exhaust port stuff. I'm going to jump right into knocking these two things out. I kind of went over my intake porting, like how-to, in the last video whenever I did this little baby bridge up in here, which I'm stoked with how this one came out. Stoked with how the center iron ports came out. And this engine, so it's a 13B RAW that we're working on. The goal is 400-something horsepower, a little bit of a street stoplight presence. We're not looking for 2,000 RPM gnarly Bridgeport Braps. We just want it to have like a nice little chop, you know, kind of like stage 2 cam and an LS engine, right? Just a little bit of overlap, still drivable, nothing crazy. On these rotary engines, boost will overcome a port easier than, like if you're making power, more boost is easier than porting your engine. And I think, especially on these REWs, which have the second largest stock port, and a Cosmo RE engine has a bigger intake port than this, but those ports are already massive on these engines, and you don't get that much gain for a street car out of the porting, in my opinion. So, or at least it's not worth the sacrifices you make with a big port. So we do the baby bridge. Make it brap, make it choppy, and then we just smoke 5.0 Mustangs with boost instead of with ports. So let's get the porting done, get this stuff good. I'm going to stash one of my mint 12A housings. Look at that. No edge wear, no chrome flaking. Good thing they're hidden in the shop, and my shop's hidden in the forest. No one can come get my 12A housings from me. Let's get to porting. Look at those ports. Super stoked, guys, with how these came out. Everything's looking super clean. Looking like they're matching up nicely. Could probably be a little bit more aggressive with them, make them a little bit bigger. But that matches up with the template, which is plenty. Don't need to go all out on these. We're just looking for a little bit of an improvement. You know, it's like a small, like a stage 2 cam versus stage 4 cam. We're just going stage 2. And I use cam piston engine references, even though I don't build a ton of them, but it's stuff you guys get. So, anyways, that is going to be the end of this video. It came up pretty quick. Doing these exhaust ports, albeit super easy. I'm gonna ride my bike. It got late pretty fast. It gets dark pretty fast. Plus, just being the day after getting back from vacation, as much as you would think you'd be well rested, and I am tired today. So, port work's done on the housings. 2 of the irons. I got 1 more iron to do, which is perfect. Tomorrow, the next video, we're going to get this engine painted up. We're going to get this thing looking proper. And let me tell you, I love all sorts of creative builds, fancy colors, do the whole deal. Paint your engine Iron Man colors, make it look sick, especially if you're in A and you can see it. But let me tell you, a traditional black and silver engine, you just cannot go wrong. The black irons, silver housings, it's just the look. And I don't have a vapor hone, so I can't make the housings just look awesome aluminum, which is what I would rather do. But I've got some kind of matte silver we're going to use on these. So all these parts will get one last clean, hose down, Scotch-Brite down tomorrow. The irons also look super awesome already. Just got to get some of this paint off. I got to clean up, block off these little bits that I touched up in the coolant grooves with the oxidation. Go check out one of the last videos. We kind of go over that. And really trying to get all this stuff cleaned so we can stack this engine up on Wednesday. That would be super dope. And I would be amped if I can get that done. So got to get the RX-8 back in here, peep the dog, get the wheels off of it, get the wheels loaded up into the truck so I can take them to the tire man and get my fresh rubber stuck on. So with that, guys, thank you guys very much for watching. Get excited for another week. This week we're going to crank out a bunch of stuff. If this is the first time you're watching a video on the channel, definitely go check out the other videos. If you want to learn more about this stuff, subscribe to see the new videos. And there's tons of good information on this channel, guys. Go back and look. We've built engines, fully detailed videos, done all of that. This is kind of a newer porting video, but I've done this porting stuff before, more in detail on a T2 engine. Done a lot of 12A stuff, a lot of first-gen stuff. So go check out those videos. We've got a lot more projects coming soon. And this is going to be a hectic week, getting this engine put back together and getting the RX-8 ready for the track. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Keep it rad. Letty is so tired that she probably won't jump for us at the end of this video. But I want to thank my buddy Peyton, my buddy Justin for watching the dog while we were away. She was super excited to see me, kind of. She's like all sorts of sad because I left her for a week and she was going back to the pound. Didn't know what was going on. I wasn't here. She's good today. Doing good. Peace, guys.